Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shriman Bhagavad Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. And to go to Vaishnava ki jai. And to Sri Krishna Chaitanya ki jai. Sri Gaur Bhakti ki Shri Shri Hare Krishna Prabhupada Kanjiri Gautam ki Vindam Dam ki Mai Bhutam ki Yimuli ki Madiganji ki Iskcon ki Harinam Sankirtan ki, Iskcon book distribution ki, Prasad distribution ki. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Shri Suitable spiritual master, having way waves and attain pure emotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross ancient material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is that my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attaching to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. Holy scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of born the Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame spread all the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Jaya Prabhupada ki jai. Go Pramanande. Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivadajacharya Ashtrata Shishmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Shriyavidastaku ki jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai. Nitai Go Pramanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you very much for coming for the class this morning. Today class will be divided into two sections. We're going to first read from Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we're going to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it's the auspicious day when Srila Madhvacharya, one of our spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, disappeared, left this material world. So we're going to talk a little bit about him. Actually, we're going to read about him from Srila Prabhupada directly. So, before we start, we'll just repeat the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We're reading from 1st Canto, Chapter 4, Text 6. Katam alakshita pare
Katana Lakshita Pure
samprapta kujangalam
Samprata Kujanjana
unmata mukha jadavad
Umata Mukha Jagavad
vicharan gaja savaye
Vicharan Gajasavaye
katam alakshita pare
Katama Lakshita Pare
samprapta kujangalam
Samprata Kujanjana
unmata mukha jadavad
Umata Mukha Jagavad
vicharan gaja savaye
Vicharan Gajasavaye
Katamalakshita pore
Katama Lakshita Pare
samprapta kujangalam
Samprapta Kujangalam
unmata mukajadavad
Umata Mukha Jagavad
vicharan gajasavaye
Vicharan Gajasavaye
Katamalakshita pore
Katama Lakshita Pure
samprapta kujangalam
Samprapta Kujangalam
unmata mukajadavad
Umata Mukha Jagavad
vicharan gajasavaye
Vicharan Gajasavaye Katama Lakshita Pure
Katamalakshita pore
Samprata Kujangalam
samprapta kujangalam
Umata Mukha Jagavad
unmata mukajadavad
Vicharan Gajasavaye
vicharan gajasavaye
Katamalakshita Pure
Katamalakshita pore
Samprata Kujangalam
samprapta kujangalam
Umata Mukha Jagavad
unmata mukajadavad
Vicharan Gajasavaye
vicharan gajasavaye
Katamalakshita Pure
Katamalakshita pore
Samprapta Kujangalam
samprapta kujangalam
Ummata Mukha Jagavad
unmata mukajadavad
Vicharan Gajasavaye
vicharan gajasavaye. Okay, synonyms. Katham, how.
How
Alakshita,
Lakshita
recognized.
recognized
Parade,
Pare
by the citizens.
by the citizens
Samprapta,
Saprata,
reaching Kuru Jangalan,
Kuru Jangala,
the Kuru Jangala provinces,
the Kuru Jangala provinces,
Unmata,
Unmata,
Mat,
Nat,
Mukha,
Mukha,
Dam,
Dam,
Jalavat,
Jalavat,
Stunt,
Stunt,
Vicharan,
Vichara,
Wandering,
Wandering,
Gaja Savaye,
Gaja Sare,
Astinapur.
Sustainable.
Translation. How was he, Shuddha Shukadev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Astinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Janga, appearing like a madman, dumb, and retarded? Let's repeat together, let's response. How was he,
How was he,
Shuddha Shukadev, the son of Vyas, the son of Vyas,
the son of Vash,
recognized by the citizens
recognized by citizens
when he entered the city of Astinapur,
when he entered the city of Singapore,
now Delhi,
now Delhi,
after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangal,
after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Janga,
appearing like a madman, dumb, and retarded?
appearing from the madman, dumb, and retarded.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The present city of Delhi was formerly known The present city of Delhi was formerly known as Astinapur because it was first established by King Asti. Goswami Shukadev, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not therefore recognized by sight, but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or great sage not to see, but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Shukadev Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly he appeared to be a retarded, dumb madman, but in fact he was the most elevated transcendental personality. Om Adinati Vinandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakarpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, how was he, Shuddha Shukadev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Astinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangal, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? So, we're reading from chapter 4, and in the beginning of chapter 4, which is called The Appearance of Srinarad. The sages of Naimisharanya, they ask through Shonaka Rishi, to Sutta Goswami, they ask this different question that will be answered through the Bhagavatam. And so they ask how Shukadev Goswami, how did you met with him? How he was recognized by the people in general, because he was looking like a madman, a dumb, a retarded person, and it's something that might be familiar with sometimes. Because actually the fact is that the outward dress is not really important. What we really see, what we really need to see in life is the spiritual side, the soul. But the civilization of we have missed out the center point of life, the center of life, which is to recognize who we are, spiritual beings. We are the soul, but not only this, we are servants of Krishna. The duty of the soul, or the dharma of the soul, as the dharma of the salt, is to be salty, and is to enhance the flavor when it's put in our dishes. The duty of the soul is actually to render service to Krishna, because we are part and parcels of Krishna. And actually people, they actually very like it to hear this. I've experienced this recently with our Sankirtan, where we're putting a book table in Covent Garden. It was on Monday. It was actually very funny. One guy from Italy, he came, he was walking really slowly. In fact, he was almost stopping by the table. And I said, "Hi, from France, where are you? Where are you from?" And he said, "Italy." And I said, "Well, that's nice, you came today to the table because it's a really auspicious day. It's the appearance of one of our saints in the line of distinct succession. His name is Advaita Acharya. And he propagated the holy name, and he called really from the bottom of his heart for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come." I just say it like this. And he was like, very good. And so we discussed, I presented him the books. He was very, very interested. But after some time, he said, "Well, look, I love to have these books, but I have too many books. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to refuse." And I said, "Yeah, that's fine, no problem. Next time," he said, "Ciao, grazie mille." And he just left. And then maybe like 5 or 10 minutes after that, the guy just came back, and he just looked at me. He said, "You know what? I changed my mind." So the guy was actually quite hungover, but he was still that. And he asked very interesting question. Like actually saying, "So, why does the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra make you more connected with God and develop your love of God?" You know, this kind of question, which are not really familiar on a Monday morning. So yeah, it was, and then at the end he just took he just took one book. He took a Sri Shapanishad because he was really into philosophy, and he had nothing to read on his flight back to Italy because he was leaving on the same day. So yeah, it's just that actually most people, they look at the dress, you know. There is a rule in how people, they look at you. There's a rule of the 3S. They look first at your smile, if you're smiling. And then they look at your shirt. And then? Shoes. And if you look right, most of the people, that's what they do when you stop them. If you have good smile, okay, this guy is okay. Good shirt, or you know, good gown, or good, you know, coat. Looks nice. The colors are there. It's nice. And then if the shoes are okay, no, the shoes are not destroyed. So yeah, then okay, this guy is bona fide. I can speak to him. So that's the rule of 3S. But yeah, the reality is actually to understand that we are beyond this body, we are even beyond the subtle body, the mind, whereas the spirit soul. And therefore here Prabhupada mentioned very nicely that a sage is not therefore recognized by sight but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or a great sage not to see him but to hear him. You see, we approach a sadhu without there is no expectation. We just here to hear. Even Jesus Christ he said, let those who have ear hear. So he was mentioning that actually the main process of our Krishna consciousness movement is to hear. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Shukadev Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. That's a very nice thing also. It's good to mention that actually also Shukadev Goswami, he was the right person to speak. He was not like... Because obviously we know when Maharaj Parikshit was on the banks of the Ganges and just waiting, then many sages came before Shukadev Goswami. Many sages, but they all couldn't manifest something that was pleasing to hear. So when a devotee of the Lord speaks, is pleasing. It's one of these austerity of speech. Is pleasing to hear, and is according to the Vedas. So he was the right person, because Shukadev Goswami obviously had heard from as we heard before. He had heard from his father, Srila Vyasadeva, and therefore he was totally bona fide to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, in the next verse, he said actually Shukadev Goswami, or the sannyasi, he doesn't stay more than the time for a householder to milk a cow, which is not so long. He doesn't stay that much. He doesn't stay more than this time in one place. Jai Shri Radharanish Ki Jai, and Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai, Shri Gauranta Ki Jai, Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. So yeah, Shukadev Goswami doesn't stay longer than the time for which it takes an householder to milk a cow in one place. But still, this time, because there was an opportunity to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, he stayed for 7 days in the same place. And he did, now the next sentence, he did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. So, he did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens, meaning that, okay, this person, he wants to hear this, so I'm going to speak this to him, you know? So that's why actually many people, they look at us, the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. But we're not here to satisfy them and then, dress in nice clothes, trotters and everything. No. Our goal, our purpose is to satisfy Krishna. That should be remembered throughout the day in all of our activities. Yeah, I don't do this to satisfy the person who I'm speaking with. No, I want to actually please Krishna, because by pleasing Krishna, everyone is satisfied. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. He's saying in the second verse of the Bhagavatam, there is a proper mode how to approach the Bhagavatam. Now, in India, most people, they sometimes stop everything and they just read the Bhagavatam for 7 days. But there is an intention behind, a materialistic intention, but The second verse of the Bhagavatam says that completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality, distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of the Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So therefore there is a proper mood how to approach the Bhagavatam, and that's why Srila Prabhupada in the introduction of the Bhagavatam, he explained about the spirit of approaching the Bhagavatam, and he does the same thing with the Bhagavad Gita. It's the first thing that he speaks about, how to approach the Bhagavad Gita, how to approach the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the mood in which we will approach Bhagavatam, that's going to affect us. Some people, they approach the Bhagavatam to have knowledge, but then what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to take over the world, or are you just going to give it to others, explain it to others, and make the world a better place? Or are you going to get money out of it? So it's very important also, when we do activities or sadhana, because it's part of sadhana, and reading Srimad Bhagavatam or other scriptures, open the book and say, okay, I'm reading now, I'm reading the scripture, but why? What's the purpose of my reading? What's the purpose of my chanting? And also always remember this, because obviously there is this three things: Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Sambandha meaning the foundation, the relationship. So we need to know, okay, who are we? That's what I was mentioning in the beginning. We are a spirit, soul, we are a servant of Krishna. That's who am I. Now, I'm not qualified for this, but I'm going to try my best to read. Why? To associate with Prabhupada. Because actually, reading Srila Prabhupada's books is non-different from being with Prabhupada. So, I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to try to explain to others how I can put it in a way that is good for them to understand. It's easy for them to understand this without changing the meaning. Like that. Is there any questions so far? Some reflection to kind of take out the monologue?
And just a simple question. So, Sikadeva Goswami appeared like a madman, and he'd only speak when there was an opportunity to speak about Krishna or glorify the Bhagavatam. I'm just wondering what other personalities in the Bhagavatam behave like that?
Any example? Yeah, you have Warren, Jad Bharat.
That's what I was
Definitely. I was trying to think of others, so if anyone has some others idea, but definitely Jad Bharat. Remember, he was he was in a Brahman family, and his father was teaching him to clean his hand to become clean, and he was explaining to him, okay, when you go to the bathroom, then you exit, you clean your hand. What he was doing, he was just like cleaning his hand before and not after. And then he was just like appearing like really a dumb guy with lifting a chariot and just... But actually when King Puranjana, King Puranjana, he just says, oh, this person is actually a saintly person. My God, he's shining. This guy is shining, so even though so many coverings. So Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Rishabhadev.
At the end, yes.
Yeah, he was also completely, he was naked. Well, like Shukadev Goswami also was naked. And just, yeah, completely out of Hare Krishna. Any other example? Okay. So next part, I just wanted to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. One of the chapters, not the whole chapter, but one purport that we read recently. So therefore we're going to read with your permission from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a beautiful literature, and it's the right time to read it because we're just coming. We had Advaita Jaya Prabhu appearance on Monday. We're going to have Nityananda Prabhu's appearance on next Monday. And then in a month's time we're going to have Gopri, which is the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the festival time, party time. And therefore it's the best time to read CC. And we're following this campaign called Be a Gardener, which is bring us more closer to the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Prabhupada translated in he did the work of many people. He engaged many devotees for 2 months, and he published, edited and printed these 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai. So we're reading from chapter 9 of Madhya Lila. It's called Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Travels to the Holy Places. And today is the disappearance day of on the Srila Madhvacharya, who is an incarnation of Vayu. Each time I see Vayu, Vayu Prabhu, Jai, Vayu Prabhu ki Jai, with this pious book, you know. Don't have any picture of Madhvacharya, but he was also very strong, really. Vayu, you know, he always remember me, Madhvacharya, okay, we read this verse 245. Madhvacharya stane aila yana tatvavadi udupite Krishna dekita ham aila premonmadi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosophers known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. Purport. Shripad Madhvacharya took his birth near Udupi, which is situated in the South Kannara district of South India, just west of Sayadri. This is the chief city of the South Kannara province and is near the city of Mangala, which is situated to the south of Udupi. Near the city of Udupi is a place called Panchakakshetra, where Madhvacharya took his birth in a Shivali Brahmana dynasty as the son of Madhyageha Bhatt. In the year 1040 Shakabda AD 1118, according to some, he was born in the year 1160 Shakabda AD 1238. So yeah, I just wanted to mention from Madhvacharya because it's really important to hear the glories of the disciplic succession, and especially when we have in the disciplic succession of Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. That is our Sampradaya. So we take knowledge from this line, and first Krishna imparted knowledge to Brahma, who imparted knowledge to Narada, and then to Vyasadeva, and then to Madhvacharya. So it's really important that we remember these great acharyas that gave us this knowledge. And just at the beginning I was preparing and I said, I'm going to say this and that, and then I said, oh wait, we read the purport not so long ago in CC, and I just leave Prabhupada, speak for himself. In his childhood, Madhvacharya was known as Vasudeva, and there are some wonderful stories surrounding him. It is said that once, when his father had piled up many debts, Madhvacharya converted tamarind seeds into actual coins to pay them off. Okay. When he was 5 years old, he was offered the sacred shrine. A demon named Maniman lived near his abode in the form of a snake, and at the age of 5, Madhvacharya killed that snake with the toe of his left foot. When his mother was very much disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump. He was a great scholar even in childhood, and although his father did not agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. Upon receiving sannyas from Achyuta Priksha, he received the name Purna Prajna Tirtha. After traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vidyashankara, the exalted leader of Sringeri Math. Vidyashankara was actually diminished in the presence of Madhvacharya. Accompanied by Satyatirtha, Madhvacharya went to Padarikashram. It was there that he met Vyasadeva and explained his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita before him. Thus he became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. By the time he came to the Anandamat from Badarikashram, Madhvacharya had finished his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. His companion, Satyatirtha, wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhvacharya returned from Badarikashram, he went to Gangjama, which is on the bank of the river Godavari. There he met with two learned scholars named Shobhanabhat and Swami Shastri. Later these scholars became known in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed a prayer in 5 chapters. Once, while sitting beside the sea engrossed in meditation upon Lord Sri Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dvaraka was in danger. He gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore, and it was saved. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at the time, Madhvacharya agreed to take some Gopi Chandan. He received a big lump of Gopi Chandan, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. As soon as Madhvacharya received the deity of Krishna in this way, he composed the prayer. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could lift it. Yes, Madhvacharya personally brought this deity to Udupi. 8 of Madhvacharya's sannyas disciples became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of the Lord Krishna deity is still going on at Udupi according to the plans Madhvacharya established. Madhvacharya then, for the second time, visited Badarikashram. While he was passing through Maharashtra, the local king was digging a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhvacharya passed through that area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in the excavation. After some time, when Madhvacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. Often in the province of Ganga Pradesh, there were fights between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindus were on one bank of the river and the Muslims on the other. Due to the community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. The Muslim soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side. But Madhvacharya did not care for these soldiers. He crossed the river anyway, and when he met the soldiers on the other side, he was brought before the king. The Muslim king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money, but Madhvacharya refused. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits, but by his bodily strength, he killed them all. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhvacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. When he met Vyasadeva, he received from him the Shalagram Shila known as Ashtamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata. Madhvacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship became known throughout India. Consequently, the owners of the Sringeri Math, established by Shankaracharya, became a little perturbed. At that time, the followers of Shankaracharya were afraid of Madhvacharya's rising power, and they began to tease Madhvacharya's disciples in many ways. There was even an attempt to prove that the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was not in line with Vedic principles. A person named Pundarika Puri, a follower of the Mayavad philosophy of Shankaracharya, came before Madhvacharya to discuss the Shastras. It is said that all of Madhvacharya's books were taken away, but later they were found with the help of King Jayasimha, ruler of Kumla. In discussion, Pundarika Puri was defeated by Madhvacharya. A great personality named Trivikramacharya, who was a resident of Vishnu Mangal, became Madhvacharya's disciple, and his son later became Narayanacharya, the composer of Sri Madhvijaya. After the death of Trivikramacharya, the younger brother of Narayanacharya took sannyas and later became known as Vishnutirtha. Famous. And it was reputed that there was no limit to the bodily strength of Purna Prajna Madhvacharya. There was a person named Kadanjari who was famed for possessing the strength of 30 men. Madhvacharya placed the big toe of his foot upon the ground and asked the man to separate it from the ground. But the great strong man could not do so even after great effort. Srila Madhvacharya passed from this material world at the age of 80 while writing a commentary on the Aitareya Upanishad. For further information about Madhvacharya, one should read Madhva Vijaya by Narayanacharya Jai. Shri Madhvacharya Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So very interesting stories there.